Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News with an update on the Clayton Accuser paternity trial. What? The trial that's over? How could there be an update? There's going to be lots of updates. This is just the world we live in, folks. It's the world we live in. What a day on Patreon, by the way, if you want. My mom visited me and brought me my yearbook from 1998. Oh, I must have been 2 years old. Sure, whatever. If you want to see my photo, it's on patreon.com/Dave Neal. We're going to get into it. I've got a cornucopia of content here. Laura Owens was complaining that she was denied a jury trial. Would we prefer a jury of her peers? And by the way, who's a peer of Laura Owens? I mean, it's a very niche audience of people that ride horses and fake pregnancies and cancers and black men and all of the different faked agent. I mean, what else do you want? You know what I mean? God bless this mess, as it were. So we'll have that. And then we've got her attorney claiming victimhood for a firecracker injury. Yes. And also flatulence that has been pointed out by audience. They say during Laura's phone call with Ravjen, she actually passes gas. Now, I can't tell if this sound is her farting or a horse going off in the background. Have you ever had gas that sounded like... Either way, we're going to listen to it. And you can make your own judgments on what it was. Also, Gingras, once again, speaks of me, his favorite boyfriend, Dave Neal, and we're going to share all of that. So, a lot to get into. A lot to get into here. Do me a favor. If you like the content that I do, but you go, Dave, I like the coverage of this trial, but I don't really follow Bachelor news. Well, have I got a treat for you? Because I have a podcast that covers non-Bachelor things, entertainment news. We've been covering the Alec Baldwin trial that was just dismissed. Of course, the crazy ongoings. By the way, my shirt matches the graphic there. Who would have thought? Also, my shirt matches my shorts. Look at that. I got a full outfit on. I'm in all summer pastels for you right now. So anyhow, folks, if you want to support me, I would appreciate that. Go check out the podcast. Link in the description below. But just search Dave Neal anywhere you listen to podcasts. It's free. You can listen on your desktop or phone, your minivan. You could listen on your Google Home device while you're making sweet love to your partner. I don't really care what you do. But anyhow, let's get into it. So let's start with our good pal, Lauren. Lauren here has been doing the literal Lord's work. You know, I've taken, I guess you could say, a mental health break, although I wouldn't call it that. I've just enjoyed a sort of metaphorical cigarette outside the building of content when it comes to the ongoing coverage here, and everyone else that has done a fantastic job. I really appreciate. It's been nice to catch my breath with all of this and burp my child, as it were. Laura Owens files motion for new trial. Here's what Lauren, our good pal, has to say.
Matter of law. We all remember that one. Okay. This is a different one. The bench trial violated Laura's right to a jury trial.
I love a good laugh.
Under Arizona's constitution.
What's so funny? Lauren, why are you laughing at Laura Owens? You behave. She wants a jury trial. She believes that 12 people... Listen, you find me 12 people that aren't her attorney, her mom or dad. I'd even take her sister, I bet. Would be... No, maybe not. But... I'll take 12 people anywhere from any corner of this country, because there is not one person who's looked at all of the fair evidence, not one person who's sided with her. And you know how the internet goes. There's always, well, maybe. No, none of that. We saw the crazy stuff that happened over the weekend. Everyone wants to take a side. This is a hoax. This was staged. This was a teleprompter injury. A bird took a crap on it. Everyone wants to say something different. The one thing that has unified all of us in this great yet very struggling country of ours has been the national disgust of Laura Owens' actions. That's the one thing that brought us all together. In the world of division, left versus right, boomers versus millennials, Gen Z not wanting to work, The one thing that has pulled us all up by our bootstraps is Laura Mother effing Owens coming together in sheer disgust over her abuse of the court system, trapping men with fake pregnancies, cancers, things like that. Okay, so anyway, but would a jury of our peers agree? I would take that bet. Where did she go? You killed Lauren.
Ma'am, this is not where you want to take your fake bump to show and tell. I promise you do not want a jury trial.
Oh, how funny on a Monday. No, Lord, don't give her. Let her. She wants to see what the internet,
this is terrible.
The best case for Laura, if she got a retrial, would be, fingers crossed, she got like a white knight judge. By white knight, I mean a judge that wants to like simp for her and feel bad for her and know nothing about the human body or the female body. She needs a male judge that has never had sex before, who has some sort of attachment issue that wants a validation from a damsel in distress. That's the only avenue in which she stands a chance. These lady judges know a thing or two about an ovary, okay? And the only people that Laura has been able to pull a fast one over are David Gingras, Judge Duty or Honorable, whatever the hell Duty is, and Corey Keith. Of course, he didn't last long, but for a second he was like, "Hey, she must have been pregnant." And then Corey's wife was probably like, "Corey, you're gonna need to get rid of this client." And then Corey's like, "But honey, the client's gonna pay for our kid's braces." And then Corey's wife is like, "Our kid will have crooked teeth before we," it goes anyway. So you can go check Lauren's full video out there. Fantastic work as we go down the line. How about this beautiful post over the weekend? JD was never pregnant, and here is the supporting evidence. We're just going to file through it. Never, not once, not 4 times, not with twins, not with 8 fetuses, not in a boat with a goat, never. Supporting evidence. 2006, claims diagnosed with PCOS at age 18, testifies at trial June 10th, 2024. PCOS is statistically linked to fertility challenges. And again, if that alone, you say, well, one could still make it past the goalie. 2016, documentation provided by Jane Doe and contextual messages indicate Jane Doe had a diagnosis of ovarian cancer. Now we know she faked that. 2016, documentation provided by Jane Doe indicating Jane Doe had an ovary removed. We know she faked that. 2021, 2023, claims extremely infrequent intercourse. Has twice claimed 14 plus months between intimate encounters. Maybe, and I hate to recommend this, but maybe she just needs to go get a friend with benefit. You know what I mean? Just find a guy that she's not into, that's just there for the sweet, sweet loving. You could get a friend with benefit. You could hook up. Then you could maybe drive to a Taco Bell, take the Tesla to a supercharger, go to Bed Bath & Beyond if you have time. I don't care what. Bring in those 20% coupons, those big Publishers Clearinghouse size coupons. She just needs a little bit of love. And it goes on and on. Claims to be very fertile, claims to weigh 91 pounds, which again is another indicator. Not many people that are that underweight could get pregnant. The body does shut down. Don't take it from me. Claims she does not get a menstrual period. And so it goes on and on and on. And people commented there within. And then we have, and again, I know we're like I said, it's a cornucopia. It doesn't all make sense, but we're here. Then we have, I guess this is the newest filing, notice of change of judge. This is from her attorney. As explained below, there is clear and convincing evidence demonstrating the judge currently assigned to this matter, Honorable Julie Mata, is biased, prejudiced, and has engaged in conduct which violates both Laura's right to due process of law under both the U.S. and Arizona Constitution, in which separately violated Rule 2.9. Performing an independent investigation into the facts of the case, considering information posted on the internet about this case, engaging in ex parte communications regarding this case with her father, and it goes on and on. The more interesting stuff is what was said on his Twitter, which we'll share, because then he just gets into the case background and, of course, cherry picks the information he wants to be known, not the information. Now, a lot of people have asked, and I've discussed this, saying the only person taking an advantage of Laura, of somebody here, is how Gingras is taking advantage of Laura. Taking her money, knowing knowing full well that she never was pregnant and the evidence is terrible. But the sort of new theory is that he's working for free in anticipation that there will be a documentary made about this, which by all means, and I'll be honest with you, I spoke a little bit about it. You'll have to listen very closely to this morning's Rush Hour podcast, but I spoke a little bit about the ongoing investigation from the Maricopa County prosecutors. The county prosecutors are not just saying they're looking into this, they are putting taxpayer money, at least a portion of, into this case. It is happening. We know that. More information on the podcast. But this week alone, 2 interviews, not with me trying, at this point, it's not me trying to pitch to documentarians this story. It's them pitching to me who would make a good fit, right? And we have one documentarian scenario that involves they've got things published on Netflix, Hulu, HBO, pretty much the whole list, right? And then in the other scenario, which is a very interesting one, which initially I was like, I don't know about this. They are extremely interested. It is a top 4 agency in the world of entertainment. You have the top 4 agencies. They're all, UTA, CAA, Gersh. I don't even know what the 4th one is. There's, all these other ones. They, when they want to spend time to get on a conference call and they want 5 of their lawyers there, let me tell you this right now. That means they're very interested. And maybe it's not just in a 1-episode documentary. Maybe they want a whole season. Dave, we think there's 12 parts to this. We think we can keep people's attention for a long time. And I would say, I agree. We've done this already with we've proven proof of concept here. Now, why would I care so much about this? You have to remember, she made threats to me and my family. The best scenario and safest scenario for me is letting the truth get out there from coast to coast and seeing how she looks in, prison garb. If the county prosecutors have ruled she, broke the law, which of course she's done that through perjury and things like that. They're just going to have to decide how far they want to take it. I wouldn't rejoice if she went to prison. I would feel for her. I would, but I do think that sort of scenario, that sort of consequence is probably the only thing that could, I should say, force her to reconcile with what rock bottom feels like and possibly have some sort of epiphany moment. All right, come to Jesus. All right, anyway, so he shared that. But the interesting thing is what he shared here on Twitter. And I know we're all over the place. To all those threatening bar complaints against me from my comments this week, please read this case. It is controlling. And by the way, I don't even know anybody who was threatening bar complaints. I personally would tell people don't file bar complaints unless you are specifically targeted by him in any sort of way. Now, I filed a bar complaint, very simply. So someone said, how many of those have you been getting lately? I'm assuming a lot. So he hasn't gotten any other bar complaints. For him to say to all of those threatening bar complaints, I don't know if they are. I just don't. Either way, he responds with my name. 0, actually, just Dave Neal. What most people don't realize is the state bar will dismiss a complaint without even sending it to me if the allegations don't show an ethical violation. So Laura's haters can file 1 million complaints. It won't have any impacts on me. Now, clearly, my complaint wasn't just dismissed. They met, like the round table of Arizona bar, and they all got together to see what the complaint, justified as far as actions are concerned. So someone commented, interesting. So Dave Neal's case showed a ethical violation, did it? He says, no. The bar just wanted more info because they believed incorrectly I was blogging about the case without Laura's permission. If true, that would be a violation. Hence, the bar asked for more info. Laura confirmed I had her permission, so the complaint was dismissed. Which, by the way, is very interesting because I don't have any attachment emotionally to this. My thing was like, look, if what he's doing is legal, have at it. If it's not legal, I would like him to face those consequences. Essentially, what they said was, because Laura okays her attorney running this madness, and by the way, no surprises there, a real twin flame, Gingras and Laura here. They've got a perfect symbiotic relationship, nearly perfect so far until, of course, she's done with him and they have a falling out. And at that point, she'll try to get, whatever. It'll be bizarre when that does happen, and it will happen. But in the meantime, I'm not claiming and other people have questioned the relationship of this. Is it like sexual? I don't believe so, but I do believe there has been enough time spent together that they've got this investment in each other where I don't think she's got money to pay him. I think a lot of the money she said she has is really not there. And I think at this point, he's just working for free, based on ego, because he had an audience of people really call him out in so many different ways. I mean, this case has been ongoing for so long, we almost don't have a clear Bible of ways he's been called out. But since the beginning of time, March 2024, I think, maybe April, whenever he showed up, since then, he has been called out dozens of times by lay internet people. No offense to you. I know the internet's full of a lot of smart lawyers here, but random people online have called him out, poked holes in every different claim he's had, including all of the things going on in court, pre-court trials, this and that. I mean, he has taken more losses than the New York Mets. No offense. But I mean, really just... some people like to go to Amsterdam and get flogged with some bondage. That's the way they like to feel a little life, I think his form of bondage is letting the internet just really flog him with leather straps of truth, just metaphorically. Mar might respond, so you had permission from your client to say discussing things about people, and after you wanted her to drop the case on mental health reasons, you let her blog about self-harming go on to take her money knowing she had mental health issues. Wow. Match made in heaven. So why do you get First Amendment privileges, but yet Dave Neal doesn't? He gets threats from you that he'd lose his house in a defamation lawsuit. Someone said he doesn't. David just thinks if he's the loudest, he's right. Any attorney worth a shit would have never taken on Laura as a client and surely would have never done what he's done. You aren't acting in the capacity of a private citizen. You are acting as a licensed attorney. I hope Laura offers you a special mouth hug. I mean, a pension. Your reputation is trash. The First Amendment is still a thing, says the guy who hands out defamation threats like candy on Halloween to anyone who reports on the case in a way he or Laura doesn't like. Yeah, I mean, here's what's so funny. Sometimes I need to present information to people and be like, put gasoline to be like, do you see what's going on here? This is a fully functioning ecosystem that no longer needs me to point out the obvious. Not that you guys ever did. It is just coexisting on the level which you guys are calling him out in ways to say, oh, you're so excited that your First Amendment's protected, but also feel like it's okay to be threatening someone else with defamation. Now, he'll argue, well, my threats of defamation to him counts as my First Amendment. My actual beliefs of Gingras are, if this was like, I don't know, take Bill Belichick, okay? Bill Belichick, great former coach of the New England Patriots. He will exploit the rule book in NFL football, the tuck rule, whatever. He'll find a rule that specifically has gray area and he'll exploit it all the way into the end zone. And then in the following season, they'll rewrite the rules to be like, all right, you can't exploit that rule anymore. But he'll do that in a effing game. Gingras feels like he's allowed to do that in the court system and outside the court system and play bully and do all these things with people's lives. And I guess doesn't have empathy for what collateral damage he's causing, because he feels like the damage I did to his client warrants what he wants to do to me. How sick and twisted do you have to be to operate like that? And by the way, I'm now operating off of that belief that he is sick. I don't know a healthy person that could act this way. I've gone through all forms of benefits of the doubt. Arizona Bar, how is this unprofessional, immoral lawyer able to get away with denigrating a judge, threatening fellow lawyers, and threatening witnesses? This man's relentless, unchecked, unethical behavior makes a mockery of your mandate. And by the way, that's part of the reason why I felt it was in good faith for me to file it, not just because of the threats he made against me, but the threats he would have made against the next person. And it's like, let's just get a paper trail going of what he's doing. I don't see why anyone would threaten bar complaints against you. You're doing your job, says Jay Hip. Albeit, I think your client money could be better used elsewhere. I'd advise her to walk away, but I get it. She thinks she has a winning case. Maybe so. We'll see. That might be the first comment I've seen from somebody that that says Gingras is doing his job. You are claiming hard of hearing, yet you have not put that into a filing. So we'll get to the hard of hearing claim. But of course, it's not like his case was just dismissed. They emailed him and said, be mindful of our conversation about professionalism and the comments you're making about other individuals. Well, of course, that didn't last long. He then said, one final thing, I have poor hearing as a result of an injury when I was young. A firework went off in my ear. I'm not deaf, but I struggle to hear sometimes. When Mata accused me of trying to coach Laura at trial, what actually happened was I couldn't hear Laura due to my hearing loss and because Deandra talked over Laura repeatedly, which the trial transcript clearly shows. Rather than trying to coach Laura, as I could even do that, I was simply trying to tell her to slow down so I could hear her. I intended to object on this, but I never had a chance to do so. This happened too fast, and then Laura lost her composure. She lost her composure. Maybe she lost her composure because you sent her a signal to lose her composure so that you could get a little bit of a recess. If Mata believed I was doing something wrong, the correct thing would have been to stop and ask me if there was an issue. I then would have explained the problem. Now, the issue there was that Mata was taking notes and not necessarily seeing what he was doing. Instead, without giving me that courtesy, the judge accused me falsely of misconduct. To me, it felt and feels like she was mocking my disability. If you think that made me angry, you're right, it did. Judges should treat all people with more respect and courtesy than this. I would like to know if Gingras has papers proving his disability. If he's had this disability for so long, you would think there's got to be a paper trail. Maybe Laura could get her Adobe Acrobat fired up, and maybe Dr. Chen could send us in some ear doctor recommendations. So we've got the great reality Stephen Carboni with Mrs., and I quote, Megan Fox here, wondering if Gingras did coach Laura. I'm going to share both of these clips for you guys. Here's the first one. They went live. You can go check out the full thing. We are so excited that Steve is now on YouTube. We get to see his beautiful mug here with Miss Megan.
Let's watch and see how much time he had to lodge an objection and also say to the judge, I'm having a hard time hearing, but let's hear.
By the way, this voice, God bless Megan Fox, this is her see you next Tuesday voice, the big C word. This is her voice she goes to when she's really trying to, here, now, wouldn't you hate to be married to Megan Fox when she's upset? Well, it looks as though the records indicate you left the toilet seat up, didn't you? I'm sorry, I made it.
What he says instead.
I say that with love.
I'll move on here. During the November 2nd hearing, you denied that the DNA test results came back with little to no fetal DNA, right?
What?
During the November 2nd hearing,
I said that the test results.
The question is on. During the November 2nd hearing, you denied that the DNA test results came back with little to no fetal DNA. Because I see you continue.
No, I didn't. I never said it didn't. I said it came back inconclusive.
I'm confused about what date she's referring to. What?
November 2nd.
She said November 2nd.
And since Steve and Megan did not invite me onto this live stream, I'm now replaying it as if I'm with I'm kidding.
Oh, no. So there's no objection to I can't hear her. I'm confused what dates she is referring to. And by the way, this is my PJ Media article that I wrote about this. Bachelor Clayton Accuser's false accuser referred for criminal prosecution. And if you go down here on pjmedia.com and you go down, look at this. He tweeted this on June 18th. Many people don't know this, but to preserve or present objections at trial, a lawyer is always allowed to interrupt a witness verbally or with a gesture. It's called quieting the witness. Now, his most recent tweet says he wanted her to speak up. Not quiet her, but he couldn't hear her. But his first thing on June 18th, his first excuse.
All right, so again, just rational people going about proving him wrong as they do. There was one more clip I wanted to share with you, and then I'll play the farting sound that people were bringing to me. And this was the shorter clip here that was put together by We Believe Laura Owens Victims. And here is what Megan Fox had to say in response to Gingras.
I read through very detailed, and I think I did it on my channel, the judicial canons of Arizona.
Yeah.
There are a ton of things in there about family members profiting from a judge's appointment. Tons of stuff about profiting financially. There's literally nothing in the canons about family members being interested in cases or coming to trials that their family member presides over. No.
All right, Megan Fox diving into the canons to get that information out. So this was sent to me. This is Laura's call with Ravgen. This was sent to me. All right, it's bottom of the barrel, but here we are. Do you hear Laura farting as she spoke to Brett? Maybe she ate a leftover burrito that hadn't been warmed up above 120 degrees. It gave her a little stomach illness. We'll play this 3 times.
We're still testing. We have this told them the date that you were scheduled for, all that. Yeah.
Now, that was the first time. So we hear what I think, which I thought was a horse. But then she apologized and laughs. Listen, when you fart, you kind of have a visceral, oh, sorry, stepped on a duck. Let's listen one more time.
We're still testing. We have this told them the date that you were scheduled for, all that. Yeah.
Now, look, Brett has had it hard enough. He really has. The last thing he needs is someone breaking wind on a conference call with him.
We're still testing. We have this told them the date that you were.
So this, I guess, was this is, if anyone's wondering, what did Dave's DMs look like? It's people sending me stuff like this.
We're still testing. We have this.
So what the hell is that? I'd love to know in your comment section. Is it a horse in the background? Is it a possible just gas issue, or it is a fart? You know what's so funny? When you're, the sound of like your stomach gargling, like gas is moving throughout your stomach. No one really cares if that happens, but the shame we have when we let a fart out. Now, I've got can you believe it, 10-week-old baby, and they do grow up too fast. And we are not shaming him to fart. We are encouraging farts. We're lifting up his knee. We're like, get in there and give us a good, because, that little belly of his, it just, you need to kind of almost treat it like an accordion and like play the fart out, the old musical toot. The beans, too much beans in the breast milk. Okay, anyhow, we made it to the end. Was this a good video? It was either really good or really bad. I'll let you decide on what you think. I'm going to go with good.
We're still testing. We have this.
But I hope it didn't make anyone feel bloated, because by all means, let it out. All right. I think I'll be live this afternoon with a public live stream before tonight's episode of The Bachelor. Of course, if you don't watch The Bachelor, that's fine. We will have non-Bachelor content as we always do. It'll be me discussing Bloatgate. I guess Fartgate. Should we call it Fartgate or Gasgate? Let's call it Gasgate. Gasgate 2024.
We're still testing. We have this. Told them the date.
If it was a fart, it was not obvious to me, but it's also not obvious that it wasn't a fart. Let's ask the Patreon section. Do they think that was a fart? Rebecca says the average person farts 14 times a day. This was discussed on the Oprah show. Dave, if he's gassy, you need to get him the Frida fart straws. We have those. We have the fart straws. Chris said, stay tuned for the Medium blog post about Dave making fun of Laura's flatulence. Binky said, it's so immature, but I can't stop laughing about it. All right, well, glad Laura could bring a smile to all of her faces through her, butt trumpet. And that's going to be it for me. Didn't think butt trumpet was going to be on the transcript, but here we are, folks. We'll talk to you. And by the way, if she farted is just an opinion. I'm not claiming she absolutely did, and I would not like to be sued or find out any more about her gastrointestinal system. What she has in her GI tract is for her and her casita to worry about. I don't care. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody.